G'day guys, welcome to I guess just an update video of what's been happening. I haven't made a video for quite some time now for those who follow me sort of regularly, and I do apologise, just work's just been hectic. By the time I go to work and come home, I'm normally just pretty much knackered because of most of you know I'm a truck driver, so yeah, the last thing I want to do after being in the truck for 12 hours is come home and do some modelling, so or make videos. Even then that takes up even more time, so I'm lucky to get half an hour's worth of modelling in every 2 or 3 days, because I'm just normally just burnt out. But being Sunday morning here down under, I've only just finished, probably about 5 minutes ago, talking to Anthony and Paul, and the rest of the gang on Google Plus Hangouts. And if you don't know what that is, it's supposedly just all the boys that are on ISM and get together. It's normally about, it'd have to be at least 5 to 6 hours of just us modelling, speaking crap, making funny noises, belching, and it's always a laugh, and it's always good to participate. So yeah, just want to say thanks, boys, and yeah, thanks for letting me join in and have a laugh with yous. And this is what I've been doing. So this also pretty much goes to the guys, because I haven't been posting any photos on Outback Mini Models on my Facebook page, and to be honest, I haven't really been on the ISM Facebook page either, and I probably spend more time on the ISM Facebook page, just as the pure fact is I hate typing. Like it feels like an essay, high school work, homework. So I mean, when I do get the time, I really should start getting into it. But the only reason why I haven't been putting up photos or anything like that is because my battery in my digital camcorder, digital camera, I've had this for years, little Olympus thing, batteries decided to die, both of them. So I ordered a couple of batteries from Asia probably about 8 weeks ago, and it's basically taken 2 months for these two little things to come. But now that they're here, yeah, I can start using my camera again, which is good. So, and what I have been working on lately is this. It's a Revell 1 to 35 Panther, and obviously if you read all the rest of it, that's what it is. Picked this up from my last run down to Brisbane, down the hobby shop down there, Hobbyrama, and just want to say thanks to all the guys down there. And I mean, always really helpful down there. And if you haven't been there, you live around the area, go give it a try. It's just an unreal hobby shop. If you can't find what you need in there, it's very unlikely that you're going to go in there and say I'm looking for this and they don't have it, unless you're looking for obviously UMP stuff and all the latest stuff that's come out, because it does take a little bit of time for it to come to Australia. And so this is what I've been working on, is this. I've been at this now for, I would say maybe have to be more, maybe a month, and this is all I'm up to. I've actually got a set of miniatures as well that I had in the stash, just these, the Tamiya ammo loading crew set, and I've had this in my stash for many years, and I just basically bought it to say, well, one day I'm going to use them. Don't know what I'm going to use them for, and thought this would be a good opportunity to get back into 1 to 35 miniature painting. Most of you know out there, I do paint Warhammer stuff as well, so I haven't painted the 1 to 35 stuff only because the last time I attempted this was probably about 6 years ago, maybe a bit more, 7 years ago, and they just look absolutely, I guess you could say, crap. I was using enamel paints, which is nothing wrong with enamel paints. I'm not saying they're bad, don't use them, but I find acrylics a lot easier to use, and that's how they've turned out so far. I've only just finished using, and I'm also experimenting with the ultimate weathering wash from UMP as well, just using the dark dirt on the recesses and things on old mate's uniform here, and I put a little bit in his face as well. Like, it's been a while since I've painted eyes, so I don't think I'll attempt it this round. And the camera's not really picking it up too well. And but other than that, it's once I get a sort of I guess you could say, just a paper towel or something to wipe off the excess once the wash is dry. Like, it's pretty much dry now, but I'm just going to give it a bit more because it is quite cold over here this morning, so it's taking a bit of time for things to dry up. And everything, the whole model has basically been painted, base coated with flat dark earth from a Panther-D acrylic paint range. And what I've actually done, they do come in, I think they're 20 mils in 20 ml bottles, and with the rest of the space that's left over in the bottle, I've just basically topped it up with Vallejo's airbrush thinner, and then stuck a size 0 bulb fishing sinker in there, so you can hear the agitator effect in there, or the clanking sound in there, so that just helps it mix up really well and doesn't settle and turn to a big lump on the bottom. Because as you know, if you guys do use this stuff, it's really thick paint, but no, there's nothing wrong with that. It sprays really nicely. Some people have troubles with it, but for me, I've had no dramas whatsoever, and it's also a really nice brush paint. The wheels themselves are being painted the same way, airbrushed, with the flat dark earth as a base coat, and obviously just with using low pressure, just using my Sparmax airbrush with a 0.2 needle in it. I've just gone around and just sort of patching it up with lighter shades, and using color modulation effects as well. I went up in color, so started off with the flat dark earth, and and then instead of pre-shading it, like a lot of guys out there will actually prime their model and pre-shade it with a black with all the panel lines and everything. But generally, I sort of get carried away with the paint, and then all that pre-shading disappears. What I have seen someone else do, which I thought was a really clever idea. And this application can work with any model, whether you're painting a green plane, a green tank, or any color, blues. I started with the base color that I'm going to use. So for this instance, I'm using the dark earth. Painted it, like I primed it, painted it, and then I pre-shaded with the darkest brown that I've got, or without being black, which is chocolate brown from Panther-D. It's basically pre-shaded everything as you would, exactly the same as you would using a black on a in your primer stage, and then with very thin with your base coat, thin it right down through your airbrush, and then you can just go over it, and you're pretty much still getting the same effect. But I wanted more of that brown look than I did with that black, so I didn't really want that black mixing through with the brown, so that's why I opted to go with the dark brown. And pretty much I ran around using this stuff here, the panel accent line color from Tamiya, which is their brown one. I've only picked this up, it's only the first time using it. I've had it for a little while now, a couple of months. Excuse me. And obviously I glossed it using Pledge Future Shine, and then washed it with that Tamiya stuff. And then I still wasn't quite happy with the effect that I got out of it. It wasn't dark enough, and I was just pretty much too lazy to mix a bit of black in a separate pot. Cause, yeah, that's just me. That's just how I do it. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. That's just everyone does things differently, obviously. And yeah, and then I just ran around. Well, let that dry, and I let that dry really, really well. Because being an enamel-based paint, if I put water on it straight away, it's just going to bleed and run off and really not do its thing. So I did let that dry for a day. Obviously, I cleaned it all up and let it dry. And then I ran over it again with the UMP dark wash. And there are photos on the ISM Facebook page of it before and after. And I was actually quite happy with the end result. And just before I went over with UMP's mud wash as well, just on the bottom. I haven't cleaned it up yet, but it's only one coat. So I mean, if I wash it back now, it's not gonna really. I don't want it to be in the panel lines. I sort of want it to be more as a what do you call it? A shade of mud. So I've actually just put bits here, a bit on the top here. You may notice that the slightly here it's a bit dirtier. On the bottom here as well, sort of done the bottom half around the hatches. Also in the running gears along the bottom here on the arms, went around with what do I use? Another new set of paints I've picked up as well. But I'll go through more of these as I get more time to make videos. Yeah, just mind the high vis. It's pretty close. It's pretty cold here, and there's my crappy jumps. I get paint on it. It doesn't really matter. I actually use the what is it in this one here? Use the dirty grease effect. It's a really nice paint by Life Color. And it's really easy to use. So I basically just slapped it in there. I don't know if you can see it. If I get this line on there right, just put it in there, and then while it was still wet, I just cleaned it up with a brush with some water on it. And all the chipping that you can see, like the chipping's only very subtle. Like I didn't go OTT with it and just like it drove through a brick wall or anything. Like it's just I wanted to do it just to break up the surface color a little bit. Like I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but mainly on the corners, like say here and on the back, you notice that there is a bit of chipping on the back. And all I'd done there, if you guys are curious anyway, if I can find that little piece that I had the other day, because it was only yesterday I was using it. It's just a bit of dense foam that you don't even ask where I got this from. I can't remember whether it's from a model kit or a piece of electronic equipment that I had laying around. Just some dense foam, and I ripped it up and then just randomly tore ends off it, so it's just like a random little pad. And then using some of my parts holders that I made up, just an alligator clip with a big barbecue stick there, just sort of cramped it all together. And obviously use these for when you're painting parts and stuff, you don't want to touch them. But then I made my own little sort of disposable brush tip and dipped it in, what did I use? Life Color, I think, matte black. LCO2, I think it is. Well, I don't even know the Life Color, I just call it matte black, because I'm pretty new to these Life Color paints myself. Basically decanted a bit on a paint palette and then just dipped in there, treated it like I was dry brushing, basically just scrubbed it off with a bit of paper towel, and then lightly, very lightly, I just basically dabbing the model. So you can see, yes, you can see some of the black, because I didn't want the to be I didn't want it to be like black all the way the whole along the edge. So like I've only done some parts. I mean, just to be random, like I didn't want both sides to be the same, or like it's I think to me it looks more realistic if you're random and sort of don't make everything sort of uniform. And then what I do after that, using, once again, if you follow me regularly, you'll see me use these quite a fair bit. Just female eyeliner disposable brushes, but this is the one I've used for a while, and after a while the tips start to flog out on them. They're not really nice and sharp and pointy like, and I don't even bother cleaning them, because if there's paint on the end of it, it actually keeps the tip nice and hard, so I can use it again for something else. I clean a little bit off it, but I don't, make them 100% clean. So because they are disposable, I've got about 50 of these things, so it doesn't really matter. But getting back to it, I've used one that's with a tip that's a bit frayed, and then using my metallics. I think I used, what was it? I used to start off the darkest one first. I used natural steel from Vallejo Model Color, and then just applying it with this way, because and I'll quickly run through it again just in case you haven't seen my other videos where I actually do a good description on this thing. You've got a normal paintbrush, and they're pretty much the same size. This one's probably a bit thicker. Make sure it's in shot for you guys. There's your normal paintbrush. You see how flexible that is. Using these eyeliner tips, they're almost like they don't move, so you're going to get like a nice flat edge when you're applying your paint for on any edges that you use it for. And you can use the tip as well, like if I just use, hang on a second, if I just get this old thing here. This is out of one of my ammo crates that I'm using for this Panther at the moment, so you can see that it does bend a little bit, and it does scuff, so you can like just basically on the edges here, and it works an absolute treat. Like, it just makes life so much easier. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without these, because I've tried using a normal paintbrush just to see how it goes, and like it is a lot easier. Like I'm not saying that throw away your paintbrushes, guys, and get these. It's just how I do it and what I find easy for myself. And it's because I don't have a lot of time when I'm modelling, so I try to get it done as quickly as I can, but still being neat. So so I'd done that, and then basically I did let it dry because I didn't want the two metallic colours bleeding together. And then once that dried, I just used a bit of steel. I didn't want to go any lighter than steel, because once you start using chrome and that, I don't know, it just doesn't look realistic to me anyway on this model. And I do say this model, because you could use chrome on obviously on other things. And I've left the back pretty much stock. The only dramas I did have was all these little handles here. When I did go to cut them off the sprue, being Revell plastic, it was just really brittle. I basically even carefully cut them off. I tried cutting after I snapped the first one. I even tried cutting away from the sprue gate, and it still snapped. So I ended up make my own handles out of brass rod or brass wire. That stuff there, I can't remember what size it is, because all my wires just jumbled together in a box up the top, and I just sort of grabbed what I thought was the right size. I may not be exact size, but it was pretty close to what they had on the plastic on the sprue itself. All the decals, there was a couple of spots where the decals actually ran over raised surfaces, so if you can see all that there. Take the turret off. I mean, like I've actually cut the tabs off the bottom of the turret ring, because I don't really like the idea of the turret being tight and scrubbing around on the thing and taking the paint off. So I've actually taken them off. But if you look here, you can see the bottom of the one just sits just above the raised surface. And if you guys are wondering, like especially the beginners out there, and you advanced models out there, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I've tried a lot of different products, and what works best for me is what I found works the most for sucking down decals. And I've used I also use Humbrol's Decal Fix as well, and it does work, but it's nowhere near as good as the Model Master Decal Solvent for complex surfaces, because it does. I mean, this stuff here, I found you probably need about 4 applications to get that decal down, and this stuff here you probably only use about 1, 2, like 2 at the most. So depending on what you build, how complex the surface is, like you may only need to use Decal Fix, and if that's all you can get, that's all you can get. So that's that. The tools themselves, pretty much the same two colours, just the Model Air steel and the natural steel from Vallejo. I just done the tools, but I did base coat these tools with Dark Iron XF84 from Tamiya. Yeah, it's just been decanted in a dropper bottle just for ease, so I don't really spill and waste anything. So the tools, been done with that, because I find that, I don't know, it's, for me, what I've found, for me what I've found is painting metallics over a black surface, like it gives it pop, but for realism I want that, because there are going to be places where I don't want the chrome or the metallics. And this dark iron too is metallic. It's a really dark metallic brown with must have like metal pigments in it or something. So it does have a bit of a metallic sort of fleck to it when you look at it. But there are places where I didn't want the thing, so like just above, I mean, I don't know shit about tanks, so excuse me if I don't know what that part is. You can see just above there, in between, well, if I get something to point at it so you can see, get my fat fingers out of the way, I do apologise. So if you look right there at the tip, I don't know if the camera will pick it up even, right there, oops, there, I've left it, so that's a dark iron exposed. And then so basically let all that dry, and I've just went over it again, like sort of spot washing, I guess you could call it, just certain places. I didn't want to just do a full saturation, just sort of bits and pieces here. I sort of went over it again using the dark dirt from UMP. And if you guys haven't got any, go and get yourself some. Hey, this stuff's unreal. Like, it's, you will not wash a model as easy as this. And this is talking from experience. I've used oil washers. You've got to go through the rigmarole of using your thinners and cleaning it off. All you need to do is get a damp paper towel or whatever you're going to use, a soft cloth. Don't use a microfiber cloth because it'll catch, but just something that's really fine, and you just basically wash it and wipe over your kit. What I have been using lately is I don't know what brand you guys get in the US or the UK or whatever, but yeah, they're just makeup pads. And just be careful when you do get them, because I made a mistake the first time. You get the cheap ones, and they're just, hang on, I was going to say that's a bloody big pad. You do get the cheap ones where they're just like that, okay, and they will just fall apart on you. And if you get these ones here with the stitched edges, like, they will fall apart, don't get me wrong, like they're at the end of the day they're just made of cotton, but they will last a bit longer, and they won't leave so much fibres and things on your kit. And you just got to be really careful as well when you're washing or wiping over your kits with these things, that you don't get them caught in oh, what was that? Oh, just an old airbrush bottle. It's alright, guys, no stress. Yeah, it's just got to be careful when you are washing over your model, that you don't sort of especially like bits that stick out that are delicate, you don't get it caught, because what will happen is the fibers will get caught. You'll either get a big ball of fiber here, or it'll just keep going and you'll just break it off. So you've got to be really careful that you just wipe over, like gently, and just be gentle with it. I mean, it's not a race. You don't need to rush to get off as quick as you can. Just take your time, listen to some good music, or and yeah, just take your time with it, fellas. So these are just the ammo crates as well. These actual set the ammo crates as well. So I have done one with a cat on sitting on the box. I was actually put a dead cat with his guts hanging out. He's been shot, but I thought that was a bit morbid. And just a couple of rounds here. They're going to be for. I haven't painted the shell casings yet, so they're basically going to be for, like, old mate holding it up, passing it up to his buddy up on top of the tank. And I have used, or basically put them on Warhammer bases, because any of you guys that collect the Citadel stuff, you will know, or you do know, that when you buy a box, you might get 5 miniatures in it, but you get about 10-15 bases. I don't know what they do now, because it's been a while since I bought like some of their new stuff, but back in the day, so you end up with more bases than you would miniatures, so that's quite handy. And so what I'm going to do, I think I will turn this into a diorama. So what I'm going to do is typical Warhammer style. I'm going to build a base, and then I'm going to make recessed holes for these things to sit in. So obviously then I can chop and change where these men go. And what else have I been doing? So that's the tank. That's what I've been doing. And there's a lot of new things that I've bought. It's been a while since I've had it for a while, but yeah, it's how long since I've made a video. So I think there's new paints that I've picked up. There's, what else is there? I've picked up probably about 6 or 7. 6 bottles of Allclads. I've actually picked up the Model Master buffable metallics, and they work really, really nice too. When did I use them on? I did spray it on something. I used them on the Westland Lynx. That worked. Yeah, they were really, really nice. And I don't know what they're like compared to the Mr. Hobby buffables. I've tried getting them, but yeah, I just can't get them here in Australia. It's just really, really hard. And once again, living in Australia, it's trying to get stuff that's has a flammable liquid in it. So and I can't even get Tamiya paints flown because it's got to come by transport. So I've basically got to get what I can get when I'm there. So if it's there and I want it, I'll get it, which is a real pain in the butt, because a lot of people have hearing like Mr. Hobby buffables are just unreal. So maybe one day if I sort of go somewhere and I have them. A bit of a hobby shop pig myself, so if there's one in town, I'll sort of drop it in and have a look at it. But what I'm about to do today is I'm about just to clean up these wheels, get all the wash off it. If I do take too much off, it's just using water too. Like you don't need special airbrush cleaners or thinners or anything. Like, you just use plain old water that comes out of your tap. I've actually seen a guy lick a paper towel and use it and lick it again. I don't recommend doing that. So just a bit of water guys in your cup, or even water straight out of your painting cup. You're not going to hurt it. And that's what I've done with this. It was like I was using pretty dirty water to clean it off. It wasn't sludge by any means, but it wasn't clean. It was probably as dirty as that. And I was using it just to take the wash off, and it didn't hurt it whatsoever. So so I recommend getting some of those as well. But that's pretty much the update on this tank. I'll probably keep going and making some more videos today, since I do have time. So fellas, thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll try and make some more videos for you. But I do say I do apologise. Yeah, like, and most of you YouTubers out there, you only make videos when you get time. But I know some of you guys there just pump them out like, yeah, there's just like no tomorrow, like it's the end of the world. You got to pump them out. So, and I wish I had the time to do that, but unfortunately I don't. So, if you got any questions or you want to see me any other tutorials that you want to see me do on how I actually done some of these techniques on this tank, yeah, swing me a PM either on down the bottom or just leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.